My future sister-in-law exploded when she found out her brother was proposing because she was supposed to get engaged first, but after calling me a delusional B-word at a family meeting, now she gets to watch me marry him from her couch. Posted by you/diligent inflation 5. I, 25F, have been with my now fiancé, 26M, for a little over a year. He proposed to me back in early March, and ever since I have felt that my sister-in-law, 23F, has begun to dislike me. I found out that a few days before my fiancé proposed, my sister-in-law overheard the conversation he was having with my mother-in-law about my ring and the proposal, and completely exploded on him. She told him how it was too soon, and that she was supposed to be the one to get engaged first. My fiancé and I had many conversations about marriage, and we felt getting engaged after a year was perfect for us. My sister-in-law has been with her boyfriend, 21M, for a little over 2 years. I didn't say anything to her about this because I didn't think it was my place, and I figured his family would have a conversation with her. Apparently there was a conversation, but when she texted my fiancé later, she basically told him that she was happy for him but was still standing firm on how she felt. Fast forward to June. I have been wanting to talk to her about why there's been a shift in her behavior towards me, but didn't know how. She shot me down when I asked if she wanted to come wedding dress shopping in May. She watches all of my stuff on Instagram but never likes anything, and she's never told me congratulations. I decided yesterday to reach out to her, and when I did I prefaced that I wasn't trying to attack her or argue, I just wanted to have an open conversation about how she's feeling. I genuinely wish that I would have just left it alone, because she quite literally exploded on me. She told me that I've been disrespectful and dismissive of her boyfriend and parents on multiple occasions. She then went on to insinuate that I was probably going to divorce her brother and break his heart, and that she would be the one to pick up all the pieces and lift him up in life. And finished it off by confirming that she does talk about me behind my back because she hasn't seen me in her house to confront me. I responded to all of her points, just expressing that I've never been disrespectful, and her saying those things about her brother and I were heartbreaking. I also reiterated that we are different ages, so what makes sense for us probably won't always make sense for her. She then doubled down while beginning to curse at me, and said that we have a higher chance of getting divorced since I wanted to rush into marriage, and the only reason I wanted to get engaged was because I heard her and her boyfriend argue about it 24/7. Just to preface, my fiancé and I got engaged after a year and will be getting married after 2 years. We will also be living together starting in December. She was really upset about the age thing, and even said that I accused her boyfriend of bringing another girl home. The conversation was me asking if he had a sister since neither myself nor my fiancé knew who she was, and once she confirmed that, that was the end of the conversation. She called me delusional and weird, and finished off her message by saying my point is I'm only going to the wedding to support my brother. I immediately blocked her on everything because I felt the entire thing was toxic. I told my fiancé that I don't want her at the wedding because there's no way she thinks she can speak to me like this and still think she's invited. I've even been considering trashing the micro-wedding idea and just eloping. I also sent the entire conversation to my mother-in-law because I didn't want there to be any question on if what I was saying was true or just me twisting words. Now because of this, my mother-in-law told them both, my fiancé and sister-in-law, that they have to come over next week for a family meeting, so I'll see how that goes. Part of me is upset that I even said anything because I genuinely wanted to resolve this whole thing, but the other half is happy because now I know what I've been feeling this whole time wasn't just in my head. Anyways, am I the jerk? Relevant comments. Commenter 1, NTA. Although, in my opinion, that's your fiancé's sister, therefore that is his battle. The entitlement of said sister is a very red flag, but even more telling is the fact that she basically admitted that you and your wedding plans are just a proxy issue. The real struggle in her life is her boyfriend and the fact that they argue 24/7 about their own wedding/engagement. This is just her very poor way of having an outlet for her very own frustrations, and you just became her scapegoat. Good for you to say no to this and to do it full force 100% and immediately. Ops response: her boyfriend has been in France since January and comes back next month. He's training to be a chef. I thought they would have gotten engaged before he left since she expressed wanting that, but when it didn't happen, I just figured it would when he got back. When he was still here, they were arguing all of the time. So much to the point where I thought they were going to break up, but they're still together. I'm sure this happening while he was gone bothered her, but I even told her their relationship wasn't a considering factor when the topic of getting engaged came up between my fiancé and I because I didn't think it was necessary. Commenter 2, what has your fiancé said about all of this? Was he bothered she was icing you out and how/what she said when you tried to address it? How is he with the idea his sister isn't invited? It sounds like his sister is taking her jealousy out on you. She thought she'd be married first, and her boyfriend doesn't sound like he is ready, no offense to her, but that is understandable at 21. Seeing her brother propose after dating half as long clearly triggered her. Her feelings are valid. She can be upset that she isn't engaged yet and be jealous. However, and it's a huge however, she should not be taking out those feelings on you or your fiancé. Sister or not, I don't know how you include someone in your wedding who is hoping for you to divorce. That is very hard to come back from and really not up to you to fix. Either sister-in-law realizes she messed up and gives a huge, genuine apology, or more than likely she buckles down and continues this view. The big thing here will be what mother-in-law and fiancé come back with. Do one or both of them ask you to let it go because she's family? Do they make her give an apology that is clearly disingenuous and then expect you to let it go? Or do they call her out on it and hold her accountable for her behavior? Once you see that, you will have a clearer view forward. Op's response: he's upset with how upset it has made me. At one point he said I know, but she was rude in her response and clearly doesn't want to fix or make anything better, and I don't want her to be a reason you're stressing out because in spite of everything she was saying to me, I don't want to mess up his relationship with his sister. Thank you for your thoughts. I've been thinking about how their talk could go, and I'm hoping with her parents seeing physical evidence of what she said to me, it'll be a situation where she's held accountable and things aren't just swept under the rug. I told my mother-in-law that her feelings are valid to the extent of being upset that she's not engaged yet, but that does not excuse her being outright disrespectful to me. Commenter 3: it sounds like to me sister-in-law is jealous you got engaged first and is projecting this onto you. You're sadly the easiest target to direct her anger towards, as well as the blame, when in reality she needs to have a conversation with her boyfriend where she wants them to be heading in the relationship. Even if I'm wrong, her behavior was very rude, although I'm a coward and would have never said anything. NTA Op. Good luck with a family meeting. Op's response: she told me everyone expected her to get engaged first. I'm assuming because she's been with her boyfriend for longer. I did not, I just figured it would happen for the both of us at some point. I even told her that I wasn't racing to get engaged first, it's just how everything played out. Commenter 4: sister-in-law is majorly jealous it's not her engaged first. So instead is trying to trash you and her brother with intent to ruin your happiness. Sister-in-law is definitely immature, besides younger. Then her boyfriend is younger yet. I highly doubt he has marriage on his mind when he's only just 21 years old. Dating for 2 years means nothing for marriage success, since she's comparing. I don't blame you for not wanting her attending the wedding. Sister-in-law owes major apology to you and her brother. Let me know what happens from family meeting. Update him. Op's response: my mother-in-law even said that she is not ready to be engaged and that they are way too young, but I didn't throw that in her face because that's not my place and I didn't think it was right. I won't be present for the family meeting, which I honestly think is best. She has issues with change and I think she's used to being the center of attention a lot of the time, so I think having a one-on-one conversation with her parents and my fiancé without me there will hopefully be good. I'll find out next Tuesday evening what all went down though. Op's response on the reason for her mother-in-law to call a family meeting regarding sister-in-law's behaviors: I think my mother-in-law called a meeting because she sees through the conversation that I had with her daughter. There's no way for me to get through to her. Me being present would honestly just make her more angry than actually get to the bottom of what the heck is going on. Just from the conversation I tried to have with her, she was jumping from point to point, and when I would question it, she would bring up something completely different. I also told her I'm not comfortable being in the same room as her, so that could also be playing a part. I hope me sending the screenshots helped to really put her on the spot because she can't deny any of it. Update: 6 weeks later. A few people asked me to update, so here I am, although I will say this is going to be a pretty long post, so just fair warning. Anyways, they had their family meeting at the beginning of July, and I was not present for this. My fiancé filled me in on a lot of what was said, and in my opinion it went better than I expected. It went better in the sense that my in-laws tried to put my sister-in-law in my shoes. So there were a lot of questions of how would you feel if she said that to you, or how would you feel if someone was treating you this way. With these questions she had no real answer, so no real progress there. To me that shows that she knows her behavior is bad enough that she wouldn't want to be treated that way, but not enough that she understands that she shouldn't treat me that way or anyone else. My fiancé told me that my mother-in-law told her if she said to choose between her fiancé/future and her piece of garbage sister, she would choose her fiancé every time. They even asked my sister-in-law if it was reversed and my fiancé was treating her that way, what would she choose, and she immediately said her boyfriend. So again, there's an understanding that she would never want to be treated that way, but not enough to not do it to others. I was told that my in-laws were and still are upset about the situation, so they were addressing her behavior, but I'm not sure how extensively. I know there are probably a lot of other details that I'm not aware of simply because I wasn't there, and my fiancé tried his best to relay everything back to me. At the end of the conversation, my in-laws asked if I would be willing to sit down with everyone and have a conversation on how we can move forward. Initially, I was extremely hesitant. This was a sign, but eventually I decided it could possibly be a good thing and we could potentially move forward, although I was still standing firm in not wanting her at the wedding. My sister-in-law wanted to wait until her boyfriend got back, so we had to wait for that. Fast forward to last Thursday, my fiancé told me that my sister-in-law texted him saying they were doing a lunch on Sunday, yesterday, and that everyone was invited. I figured this was going to be the meeting that my in-laws were wanting to have. I told my fiancé that although I was pretty nervous about the whole thing, I was willing to go because I genuinely just wanted the whole thing to be done. It has taken a lot out of me emotionally and mentally, and so I was ready to find a way to move forward. So we get there, my fiancé and sister-in-law's shared apartment, and I will admit that it was awkward. I felt like I was going to throw up before we walked in from the anxiety, so I was not having a good time. I spoke to everyone and hugged my in-laws, but I didn't speak to my sister-in-law, mainly because I didn't know if she was going to take it poorly and I also didn't really want to. My sister-in-law's boyfriend, absolute angel, cooked lunch which was really nice, and so for a bit things were calm and I was getting a little more relaxed but not 100%. After lunch was when the talk/meeting started. My in-laws basically mediated the whole thing. A lot of the main points were they wanted things to get figured out so it wouldn't always be like this. They didn't want it to be uncomfortable for anyone, they want to be able to get together for holidays and other things, especially since kids will be in the picture sooner or later. Most of the time my sister-in-law wasn't really interested in the conversation, but once she was it kinda just went downhill. A lot of her responses were "I'm not sorry." I said what I said. She started it by sending me that long message. She made some comments about how she was being nice because she didn't start anything when I came in the house, which made me feel like I couldn't really speak up. Like it was a warning that she was being nice but that she could flip at any moment. Anything that my in-laws said was met with pretty much the same response of "I said what I said." There was a lot of "I don't want to be her best friend," even though no one even mentioned that or asked her to, and she even told my mother-in-law that she didn't want to share her family with anyone. My sister-in-law's boyfriend chimed in at one point and brought up how I sent that message right when they were going through a bad rough patch, which I didn't know because it's not my business, but even with that happening it doesn't excuse her behavior at all. It ultimately came to a destructive end when my father-in-law brought up how he would hope that eventually we could be on good terms and that things might change. My sister-in-law said, "I mean, okay, yeah, eventually things could change, but right now I don't like this freaking jerk." I can't even tell you what everyone said after that because I was in full-blown panic mode and had tunnel vision. I do remember my mother-in-law saying, "Wow, insert sister-in-law's name," but that's about it. I left and went into my fiancé's bedroom because I had just reached my limit and I cried. After that my fiancé and sister-in-law got into a screaming match, and I could hear my in-laws chiming in, but then my sister-in-law started crying. I found out later this was because she felt like everyone was attacking her. My fiancé eventually came in to check on me and told me that we could leave. He just wanted me to take a moment to breathe and catch my breath. We talked for a bit and then my mother-in-law asked to come in. She profusely apologized to me, and although it's her daughter, she's still technically a grown woman and is responsible for her own actions. I explained to her that I don't know that I've done something wrong unless it's communicated to me, and the only reason I really knew that I had done something was because I texted her trying to communicate and it was taken poorly. I said that I had no ill intent whatsoever with sending the message, although I do understand how some things could have been taken negatively or as a dig on her end. I told both my fiancé and mother-in-law that if I had any idea that this was how things were going to go, I would have never said anything. I told her I appreciated the thought of trying to help the situation, but at this point there was nothing I could say or do that would make the situation better, and I didn't feel comfortable staying, so we left. It's a hot mess and it honestly sucks that this is how it played out, but that's where things are at the moment and probably will stay for quite a while, so it is what it is. It goes without saying that she definitely won't be at the wedding, and now we're trying to decide if we want just our parents there or if we just want it to be the two of us. Anyways, that's the update. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I don't know why you keep apologizing. Being an adult means addressing issues in a polite manner, which you did. Get a shiny spine for yourself and tell your jerk sister-in-law to go straight to heck. Mother-in-law and father-in-law need to butt out at this point. No more family meetings. She's an unhinged child and should not be welcome to your wedding or around you at all. Ops response, I agree with the no more family meetings. It's obviously not doing anyone any good, and it's honestly just stressful to go through. I never thought this would be my life, but here we are. Commenter 2, your sister-in-law clearly doesn't want to be your friend, and honestly, she already had signs. I understand that some people need closure or clarification, and that's why you sent a message. Throughout the meeting, she made it clear that she didn't want to be your friend. She doesn't need to be your friend, she just needs to be polite, and your in-laws and fiancé need to give up on the idea that everything will work out and you can become friends. What you shouldn't compromise on is respect and politeness. Ops response, oh yeah, I totally understand that now, and I never felt like she had to be my friend, I just wanted a decent relationship with her. She just wasn't like this before I got engaged to her brother. She would text me for advice or come to me physically if I was over there. She asked me to go with her to buy her truck just a month before we got engaged. That's the part that was confusing for me because it was like a switch flipped when she found out her brother had my ring. Op's response on whether her in-laws are aware of sister-in-law not being invited to the wedding. We're thinking of just eloping so no one will be there, which my fiancé has expressed he would just prefer that after all this. My fiancé and I have also discussed the possibility of having just the parents present, and if that was something we decided, we would talk to his parents. The original plan before all this was to have a micro-wedding with just immediate family from both sides. Commenter 3, reading both of your posts, I doubt your future sister-in-law's behavior towards you is rooted in anything of how you have behaved towards her. Her issue is almost certainly rooted somewhere in her mind. Don't feel like that message you sent somehow makes it your fault either. Her issue with you clearly started well before you sent that message to try to clear the air, no matter what she may claim. How she was behaving towards you is why you were sending the message to begin with. If you hadn't sent the message, I suspect things would have still ended up leading to somewhere similar to where you are now. It just would have been something else that triggered it. I also doubt that there was anything else that you might have done further back that could be to blame either. If there was, she probably would have dragged it out during her blow-up when all y'all tried to talk things out. If there was something else you did prior that upset her, it does not seem like she would have hesitated to dredge it up. That she has not, either now or during the prior time your in-laws tried to talk to her, strongly suggests that there is nothing you did. The best thing to do here is probably to stop trying to bring her around. Your fiancé should set boundaries around her behavior towards you, then drop the rope and move on. You should be involved in crafting the boundaries, but he needs to be the one to lay them out to her and enforce them. It's not worth any more effort on your parts. Either she will face up to her issues or she won't. Op's response, thank you for this, I genuinely appreciate it. I understand now that me sending her that message came at a really bad time for her, but I also had no idea that she was going through anything in her personal life. My in-laws mentioned that because of the timing of everything going on, anything could have set her off at that moment, it just happened to be me. My sister-in-law brought up during the meeting that she's a very bold and straightforward person, but not once had she ever personally told me that I had done anything to upset or offend her. I'm disappointed by how everything played out, but a big part of me is also really thankful it happened now and not on my wedding day or some other event where I would have been blindsided. It helps me know how to move forward and what not to do. Commenter 4, to be honest, it sounds like even if you weren't engaged, she'd still have a problem with you existing as her brother's partner. Op's response, she had previously said that she felt like I was the reason why my fiancé doesn't talk to her as much, like he isn't a grown man who's capable of making his own decisions. Op's response on the decision of eloping, the decision to elope is being considered mainly due to us getting married on the West Coast and having a celebration/reception a few days later on the East Coast. I'm trying to be mindful of what stress that will cause, especially financially for some of the family involved. She won't be invited to the celebration, it's not even an option to consider at this point. I doubt she'll ever truly apologize, and I'm not going to hold out hope that she ever will. I can only hope that when her frontal lobe finally develops, she sees how badly she's messed up. Commenter 5, I think I'd still have the micro-wedding. Why should your families be excluded just because of her actions? It'll send a message that you both aren't putting up with her nonsense and your plans won't change because of it. Op's response, I think the biggest issue is we're going to get married on the West Coast and then have to pretty immediately fly to the East Coast for the celebration/reception. It's more about doing what makes the most sense for all the family involved and not necessarily trying to exclude anyone, besides her of course.